I walk. Mouth full of gold, got a list when I talk.
It's the 2026 NBA offseason, and we're still asking the same questions we were asking in the 2010 offseason. And I'm talking about the one, the only. Where is he? Where is he? The LeBron James decision. That's right, it's Le Decision 2.0. He's hit free agency once again, and despite the fact that he's in year 23, or that he just finished year 23 rather, the biggest free agency move is still about the kid from Akron, LeBron James. 4 championships, 4 finals MVPs, the most points all time. Of course, he is the most accomplished player of our generation and the best player of all time, but where is he going to go next year? That's the big question. He wrapped up a great stint with the Lakers in 2025-26 with an incredible playoff performance to get the Lakers out of the first round versus the Houston Rockets with no Luka Doncic and no Austin Reeves. They go up against the Oklahoma City Thunder, which is an incredibly tough team to play against, and of course, without those 2 co-stars and with Austin Reeves not playing great when he came back, LeBron James ended up getting swept. Yes, I can hear all of you LeBron haters in the comments already going crazy. But that means that the tenure that LeBron has spent in LA is over. It was a successful stint. There's no doubt about it. A championship was brought to the City of Angels in that time. Let's not forget. And the bubble championship was real. I can already hear my podcast co-host Noah Wilson getting at me about that one. But now that he's a free agent again, the question is, which team is LeBron going to be playing for in the big 26-27 NBA season? Which, by the way, the schedule hasn't even been decided because LeBron needs to make his decision, according to Adam Silver. I'm Zafir Nagji. You're watching the Triple Threat YouTube channel. Please make sure you give us a subscribe. Like this video if you like basketball content, and subscribe for more. Leave a comment down below about where you think LeBron might be going in this upcoming season. Plus, let us know your thoughts on what we think about LeBron's offseason here, what I think, basically about where he's going to go. Now, according to Rich Paul and LeBron James and that sort of camp, we know that there's a 4-team shortlist for him next year. We've got the Golden State Warriors as the only Western Conference team he is really mainly considering at this time. You've also got the Cleveland Cavaliers, you've got the Miami Heat, and you've got the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, all 4 of these teams are intriguing for different reasons. So it's important to ask, what is LeBron really looking for with his next move? Well, we know he's not in a rush. We know that what he's looking for here is a chance to contribute at a high level on a championship contending team. That narrows down the list pretty extensively, because not only does the team have to have enough pieces to go out there and win games, but they have to have a reason for wanting LeBron's specific skill set, especially this late in his career when he's not the same guy we once knew in 2012 or 2018. Still a great player. I mean, I got his jersey up on here. If anyone knows how great this guy is, it's going to be me. But he's got to be a good fit. It's got to be a good chance for him to win. And we all know it's got to be a good city that he wants to actually live in, or at least close to somewhere where he wants to be. So let's evaluate all 4 of those destinations together here. We're going to rank how well he fits with the current team, the lineup that they've got, barring any major moves that they might be able to make because we're so late into the trade free agency sort of season here. We're going to look at how likely it is that they'll contend for a championship with LeBron on the roster. Is this a realistic contending option? Will he be satisfied with their chances in the upcoming NBA season? There's a lot of great teams already out there. I mean, we just saw the Spurs and the Knicks do battle in the finals. You got to have a team that can compete with those 2 powerhouses. Plus, you got Oklahoma City, all the other great teams. And, of course, the meme question of all meme questions, how will this affect LeBron's legacy? He's only got 1 to 2 more years most likely left in his career here. So the last 2 years, they're going to be what he might be remembered by. They're going to be talked about to no end. So we have to make sure that wherever he goes, we rank exactly how it will affect how people will talk about him. Will it make a big impact on his legacy? Will that be a positive impact on his legacy? We'll tally up those scores at the end here, and you can see where those teams rank in terms of how well we think he could fit over there, how well I think he could fit over there. Without further ado, let's get into it.
James, foul by Garnett, his 5th.
All right, so the first team on this list here, the one that I'm going to put as the lowest ranking spot for him to go, and this is going to be a surprise to a lot of people who've actually picked this as the prime destination for him to go to, It's South Beach. It's the Miami Heat. Look, I'm all for reunions, okay? I was really happy when LeBron decided to go back to Cleveland that fateful year in 2014, and the way he brought a championship back to that city, the first championship they've ever had in NBA history. Plus, I mean, the 2018 playoff run, the whole season was incredible. I just don't think that the Miami reunion is going to be the same as the Cleveland reunion. Let's remember, LeBron only went to Miami because he was dissatisfied with what Cleveland was giving him at a young age to try and compete for a championship when he felt like he was giving them so much. On top of that, what real history does he have in Miami? 2 championships, of course. 4 finals trips, of course. But he never was the big kahuna. He was never the big dog in that city. It was Dwayne Wade's city. It was always going to be Dwayne Wade's city. And so when the championship contention started to fall apart, there was a reason he left to go back to Cleveland. It was because he knew that that wasn't the main place for him to be. It wasn't some historic, revel destination for him to go to. It was a nice city with a chance to play with his boys and win some championships. Now, if he goes back there, there's a great chance that he's going to contend in a tough Eastern Conference. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bam Adebayo are no slouches. And that team, they're getting better shooters around there. Tim Hardaway Jr. being there certainly helps. They'll have to build out the roster with a few more low-cost signings. But that being said, I mean, it's definitely not a bad fit in terms of basketball chemistry. And it's not a horrible fit in terms of contention. I mean, they can definitely compete at the highest level of the East with LeBron there. But do I realistically think they can win a really tough playoff series against a fully loaded Knicks team, a fully loaded Celtics, 76ers, Cavs team? I mean, they're in there with them, and it's crazy to say that, that LeBron doesn't just throw all those teams to the side. No, those teams are really, really complete teams in a lot of cases, and it's going to make that very, very difficult for them. I think overall, in terms of a basketball fit, it's a 7 out of 10 for me. LeBron being able to play with Giannis is going to be a great pick and roll. Same thing with LeBron and Bam Adebayo. That team needs a playmaker. That team needs someone that can lead them in big moments, and that's what LeBron can do. Plus, with Giannis and Bam being relatively healthy, I mean, Giannis to a lesser degree, LeBron doesn't have to play a huge number of games for them to be a successful regular season team. They could probably accrue a bunch of wins just being a great defensive team, which is what you're going to get when you have Bam and Giannis on your front line. Andrew Wiggins still there, of course, as well. But they need more shooting. They need more ball handling. They need something next to LeBron to help take the load off of him. Because right now, it's going to be LeBron bringing up the ball and having to set everybody up all the time. And I just don't think that at this stage in his career, he needs to have that big of a role. He needs to be a featured part of the team, 100%. But he can't be the only hopes that they have for distribution, ball handling. Even to a degree, he'd be one of their best shooters. That's not where I see LeBron fitting in at this stage of his career. So I think that's a 7 out of 10. As far as championship contention goes, one injury in the Eastern Conference to a big level team, one lucky turn in a playoff series, and this team could go to the NBA Finals. But the Knicks looked so complete this year, and they're going to continue to get better as a team because of their just chemistry getting better. The Cavs, who knows what they'll do. If they don't get LeBron, they bring James Harden back, maybe on a lower contract. Maybe they bring in some other guys in free agency. The Celtics, they'll have Jason Tatum back. The Sixers, they have Embiid, Jaylen Brown, and Tyrese Maxey. It's a really tough East to come out of, and I just don't think that Miami has what it takes to put them well over the top over the now. Could LeBron be the difference maker? Probably, especially in the playoffs, but it's not guaranteed, and so it's a 7 out of 10 for me over there. And then, like I said at the beginning here, the legacy, does him going back to Miami really bring anything to me? Does it make anything happen for me? I don't really think so. I think Miami was a fun era for LeBron. Certainly, you could argue that 2012-13 was his greatest season of all time, and I would accept that argument. Apart from Defensive Player of the Year, he won every award he possibly could while he was there. But there's nothing that draws me to say LeBron should be back in Cleveland. In Miami, excuse me. There's nothing that says, LeBron, you belonged there. That's your home. You should finish out your career over there, other than the fact that Miami is a very nice city, a big market, and certainly a team that's familiar with what LeBron wants to be able to do. I would hope this time they'd let him keep his chocolate chip cookies. So I'm going to give the legacy a 5 out of 10 on that one. It wouldn't make his legacy any brighter. It wouldn't ruin his legacy either. It just wouldn't do anything for me. So in total, that's going to be a 19 out of 30 there for the Miami Heat. It's our lowest ranking option here in terms of a LeBron move. The next one is going to be the Golden State Warriors.
Who else you want to play with?
In today's game, shit. Man, there's some motherfuckers in today's game, but Steph Curry.
Yeah, that's the one.
Steph Curry's the one that I want to play with, for sure, in today's game.
Now, the Warriors, they're tied with Miami Heat in my rankings, and we're going to go through why. First of all, the fit is better. Okay? The fit is not as bad as it is in Miami with that loaded, paint-centric front court. The Golden State Warriors have the greatest shooter of all time in Steph Curry. And we saw the Olympics. We saw what LeBron and Steph Curry were able to do when they were together on the court at the same time. LeBron's court vision is going to find Steph Curry every single time. And Steph continues to move off the ball. His volume of threes has only gone up, and his percentages are still so high, which is unbelievable. He is a superstar talent, a box office player in this league, one of the greatest of all time, the greatest point guard of all time, for sure. And I understand that LeBron wants to play with Steph Curry. The two of them, they have a friendship, they have a chemistry that could hold them tight together like this. Draymond Green and LeBron are great friends as well. But I don't know, the only problem I have with the fit is where does all the other offense come from on this team? Klay Thompson is willing to come back if LeBron coming there is a realistic venture. But even then, a washed-up Klay, a washed-up Draymond, and an elderly Steph, I mean, he's still a great player, but an elderly Steph nonetheless. Now we're talking about a kind of a clunky fit where, where are they going to get the background shooting from? Where are the role players going to come from? How do they all fit this into the salary cap as well? Because they're going to have to sign some other players to make this all work. I think the fit in theory is really, really fun, but I think in terms of being able to actually create a cohesive unit that can win games, win playoff series, I just don't think the fit is all the way there. But purely out of the entertainment factor, I gotta say, this one's a good one. That being said, all things true, all things come together. That being said, even though the fit is not perfect, it is better than it is in Miami, and so I am going to give this one, in terms of fit, an 8 out of 10 when it comes to the Golden State Warriors. Now, the championship contention is where this place kind of falls apart. Yes, LeBron and Steph would be fantastic together, and as far as two-man offenses go, that might be the hardest one to stop in the league if they come together. But outside of those two players, there's not a lot on this team that is exciting. Draymond Green is no longer the player that he used to be. Still a great defender, nowhere near as great of a defender as he used to be. Can't shoot threes the way he used to either. And, what am I supposed to do? Depend on Brandon Pajemski and Quentin Post? I mean, they're great players, but, we're trying to contend for a championship against SGA, J-Dub, Chet Holmgren. We're trying to compete against Victor Wembanyama and Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper. The West is still so loaded, even as the East is becoming better. I just don't see the Golden State Warriors being able to throw enough together here to build a serious championship contender. They can get to the playoffs. In fact, I think they would be in the same tier almost as the Lakers without LeBron as the Golden State Warriors with LeBron. They wouldn't be very different from each other in terms of the standings. So really, to me, the championship contention factor, it's a 6 out of 10 in Golden State. It's possible in a very, very rare scenario where a bunch of guys get hurt and the Warriors have an easy path to the finals, but the most likely thing is that it's not going to happen. And then as far as legacy goes, to me, it's a 5 out of 10 because it doesn't make LeBron seem like any greater of a player. It doesn't help, raise his stock, especially among the Jordan guys, because he's joining an old adversary of his. But for the fans, I mean, we're all going to love watching those two guys play together. Especially my generation, those are the two guys we grew up, idolizing. We loved what LeBron and Steph were doing when they battled against each other. And as they aged into the later stages of their career, we became grateful to just watch those two go and hoop every single night, no glaze. The finals battles are one thing, but then the Olympic collaboration and all the face-offs that they've had after, we've all loved to watch those two go against each other. And it's been a secret dream of all of us to see them play with each other because we know how good of a fit the greatest shooter and the greatest playmaker of all time could be together. But it doesn't make him seem like a greater all-time player. It doesn't sway the Jordan heads. It doesn't fix LeBron's view to the Kobe guys. So all the guys that have hated on LeBron and don't see LeBron as the greatest of all time already, it doesn't really make much of a difference. And for that reason, the legacy factor is a 5 out of 10, bringing the total score here an 8 out of 10 for fit, a 6 out of 10 for championship contention, and a 5 out of 10 for legacy. It's a 19 out of 30, tied with the Miami Heat.
Screen set for LeBron James. Going to work, fires, leaning. DeMartin! Away goal! Walk-off playoff winner!
This is the one that I think most people want him to do, based on what I've been talking to basketball fans around a lot, is the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I understand why. You know, another homecoming would be really awesome. For him to finish his career in the place that he started it is just such a storybook ending. And on top of that, Cleveland is not a bad team. I mean, yes, they said some interesting things about how they lost this year, about, you know, we won as the analytical team. Analytically, we should have been the championship team or whatever, but whatever. You know, you got a guy who can break any analytics in LeBron if you bring him in there. And then James Harden not really signing a contract until he knows if they're going to get LeBron or not, so he can leave space in the cap to keep LeBron. Donovan Mitchell, yeah, he signed his extension, but I mean, we knew they were going to do that. And you got Evan Mobley and Jared Allen still on your front line. Those are two defensive dogs at the front that are going to protect the rim, that are going to be able to switch out on defense, mainly Evan Mobley in that case. And with LeBron over there, you've got a guy who can make plays for those guys who have been criticized for being a little bit offensively challenged at times. Obviously, Jared Allen more so than Evan Mobley. The depth is a little bit questionable. You know, they don't have a horrible bench, but they don't have a great bench either. And I do think that the LeBron, James Harden, and Donovan Mitchell all needing the ball is a bit interesting. But at the end of the day, that team does need a playmaker. That team does need someone to help distribute the ball so that it's not all on James Harden. And they also need someone who can score in the fourth quarter, because we know Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, their production does tend to drop off in the playoffs when their team needs them most. You can just give the ball to LeBron and you can watch him make art with that basketball in his hand. So for me, I think the fit here is a strong fit. It's a 9 out of 10 fit in Cleveland, especially because it's his home city. Like, he'll be very happy to be home. You know, an emotional fit, a basketball fit, it definitely makes sense. As far as a championship contention team goes, or a championship contending team goes, rather, it's an 8 out of 10 for me. I think this is a Cleveland team that they were close to getting to the finals last year. They played 2 7-game series to start off their playoff run, and then they lost in 4 to the eventual championship-winning New York Knicks. It felt like if they had a guy with LeBron's skill set, they probably could have had a better chance. They definitely would not have needed to play as many games going into the Knicks series, and then they would have lasted a lot more games, maybe even won the series against the Knicks with a healthy LeBron on the roster over there, helping you in big fourth quarter moments, setting the table for guys, really keeping everybody in tandem on the same page. But it's not guaranteed, because the Knicks are really good. The Celtics are going to be good. The Sixers are going to be good. There's been a lot of improvement in the East. You could argue that the East is just as tough, if not tougher of a conference than the West is. And that is really saying something. It's really saying something. So for me, that championship contention thing, it does work, but it's not guaranteed. It's an 8 out of 10. LeBron is going to have to be a great player on this team to win a championship. Which contributes to the fit. That's what he wanted to be, a valuable piece on a championship team. Championship contention is 8 out of 10 in that respect. And the legacy, I mean, come on, 8 out of 10, right? I mean, like, this is a homecoming. This is start and finish in the same place. This is storybook. If he brings another championship to Cleveland, and their only 2 championships in history are from LeBron James in 2 different eras, I mean, come on, what are we doing, right? That's beautiful. That is cliche. That is storybook. That is beautiful. On top of that, there's a good chance he could win Finals MVP if this team wins the championship. I know we're going way far ahead now. You know, we're talking about, you know, them making the finals, them winning the finals, and how he would perform in them. We're obviously all projecting this, but if he's even close to Finals MVP, if he is the second or third best player even on a championship team in year 24 of his career for his hometown Cleveland, I mean, that's going to put the cherry on top of his career. It is almost, in my opinion, the best fit for him out of all of the 4 teams. It's not the best in my opinion, but it's almost there. It's a 25 out of 30 all in all when you add up the 9 out of 10 fit, the 8 out of 10 championship contention, and the 8 out of 10 legacy fit. It's a 25 out of 30. That is very, very close to a perfect fit. But to me, it is not the best fit. The best fit is actually the Philadelphia 76ers.
Recognizes that this is LeBron's night, even though other guys have played well. Just give it to arguably the greatest player, or one of the three or one of the four that's ever played the game, and let him finish out the game the way he wants to.
Now the Sixers, they score exactly the same as Cleveland in terms of the basketball fit for LeBron, a 9 out of 10. Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Joel Embiid. This team desperately, Jaylen Brown, as well. This team desperately needs someone to move the ball. I mean, these are guys that are going to want the ball and they're going to want to find shots for themselves. Sure, they'll play make. None of them are necessarily selfish players, but these are guys that need someone to distribute the ball, to find guys in their spots. And you've got the perfect power forward to do that for you in LeBron James, who can also play decent defense at this stage of his career, especially when he's got a rim protector like Embiid behind him, perimeter defenders like Edgecombe and Jaylen Brown out on the perimeter. And literally all you'd be doing is moving Dean Wade to the bench, which is fine. Dean Wade doesn't need to necessarily be a starter, especially if you've got LeBron on the roster. On top of that, the shooting is pretty good here. Jaylen Brown's not a great shooter, but he is a three-point threat. Tyrese Maxey is a great shooter. Edgecombe is an improving shooter. Embiid's a good shooter. So the spacing is looking good. You can't double off of anybody either because, well, LeBron's a great passer. I don't know if you know that. And on top of that, like all of these guys are prime star players, apart from VJ Edgecombe, who's growing into a star of his own. LeBron can mentor VJ Edgecombe as the veteran on that team as well and really give this team some more wisdom. And with him and Jaylen Brown on the same team, I just think the IQ could be absolutely incredible here. Embiid, this is a reality check for Embiid if he gets LeBron, because now you really do have a chance to win a championship. Embiid was great in the playoffs last year. The team really didn't get to complete their series against they completed their comeback against the Celtics. They didn't get to complete a championship run through and through because the Knicks were able to just dominate through the playoffs. But that being said, I just think the fit is great there. There's youth, there's experience, there's shooting, there's athleticism, there's defense, there's offense. And LeBron's still going to be a very important piece on here because they need playmaking. And that's what LeBron is going to bring to the table here. The depth isn't great, but, with the starting lineup like that, it certainly helps. Championship contention, also a 9 out of 10 to me. This is where I think LeBron has the best chance of winning a championship, hands down. And I was tempted to give this a 10 out of 10, but it's not a guarantee, of course. But if this team stays healthy, and they could because they could all take games off because they're so loaded in their starting lineup, it's like if everyone's healthy, they can beat any team in the East for sure. They can contend against any team in the East in a playoff series. And then up against the West, certainly it gets harder, but I would pick this team to win against San Antonio Spurs. I could see this team beating an Oklahoma City Thunder, especially now that they're having to give away some of their pieces due to the second apron. They look like a great team. They look so balanced with LeBron on the roster that to me a championship contention is a 9 out of 10 fit right over there. And then as far as legacy goes, the Sixers aren't a non-championship team, but they haven't won in a very long time. They had Allen Iverson. They couldn't win with him. They had Simmons, Embiid, Harris, Butler, and Redick on the same team, and we thought that was a great team. Still weren't able to win a championship. If LeBron is the one that takes this franchise back to the promised land for the first time in 40 years, that's a pretty big deal. Philly is an important team in NBA history. So many great players have played there, including the great Will Chamberlain, Allen Iverson, of course. Embiid, a future Hall of Famer, most likely, if his career continues to ascend. So, to me, it would mean a lot if LeBron brought a championship to that team. It would also make him, by the way, the first player in NBA history to win a championship with 4 different franchises. So yet another superlative, another record to add to LeBron's legacy at the end of it. That to me feels like, an A+ fit, an 8 out of 10 legacy move over there. And so when you look at the 9 out of 10 fit, the 9 out of 10 championship contention chances, and the 8 out of 10 legacy fit, that's a 26 out of 30. And to me, it makes sense. That's where LeBron should go. The only issue with Philadelphia is, out of the 4 cities that are here, the city itself is the least fitting for LeBron. Miami, South Beach, beautiful, huge market. Been there before, done that before. Miami makes sense. Golden State, I mean, you're so close to LA, you're close to family. You get to play with Steph Curry. It's still, San Francisco's a beautiful city. Big market, makes sense to be in Golden State, especially with all the tech stuff as well. Cleveland, hometown. Can't say much else about that. LeBron's got no tie to Philadelphia. The one thing I can say is that it's not very far from Cleveland. It's not very far from New York, and it is still a big, important city. It's a historic city, the city of brotherly love. But, there's no real allure. There's no real pull factor taking them over there. But that being said, I think it would be really fun to watch LeBron go to the Sixers, be with a fully loaded team, especially if they can stay healthy, and take that team to the finals, to a championship at the end of his career, finish a quarter century in the NBA with a ring, maybe even 2 on his finger. The other thing too is this. If LeBron does end up going to Philadelphia, like the way I want him to, and let's say they win a championship their first year, as unlikely as it may sound because, you got to get the chemistry right, and it's a tough league to win a championship in right now. If he wins that championship that first year, he doesn't have to stay there, especially if he's signing a 1-year contract, a vet minimum contract. He doesn't have to stay in Philly. He can still have his storybook ending in Cleveland if he wants to. He could go to another city if he wants to call it quits if he wanted. Not saying that he would even need to. But if that's the case, if that's what he desires, there's nothing wrong with doing that, and it leaves him the opportunity to do that with one last ring on his finger to end with 5 championships. The same amount as Kobe, only 1 less than Mike. I already have him as the greatest of all time, but surely that strengthens his case for the greatest of all time. So, those are the 4 teams that LeBron's got on his list. We're still waiting for Decision 2.0 to come out. La Decision 2.0 is still in the works. Where is LeBron going to go? Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about the thoughts that I had. Miami, Philly, Golden State, Cleveland, how those teams rank, where you think the King should go next year, and how well you think he'll be able to perform here in the last year or 2 of his career. If you like basketball content, make sure you subscribe to the Triple Threat channel right over here on YouTube, plus wherever you get your podcasts. You got to see our podcast episodes are absolutely great. MJ Jorge, Noah Wilson, my fantastic co-hosts. Videos are always getting uploaded for those as well on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you subscribe there. Like this video if you liked this video. Leave a comment down below, and we will see you on the next one.